This week I had the opportunity to explore words and the meaning behind them. I found names most interesting. But for the purpose of this essay, I'm going to focus on sense and reference. Sense is the definition in our minds we have of an entity, and reference is how it relates to the world. Pinkner talks about this, and he explains that a sense is not necessarily in anyone's head. It is the ideal characterization of a concept behind a word. He goes on to explain that the sense of the word can be put into use when picking out its referent. An example in both the PowerPoint and the book was about a cat, and it said that the sense or mental definition of this word was a small, furry, domestic animal with pointy ears and sharp claws. Its referent is the cat because it references how the world relates to this entity. In the PowerPoint we talked about how most of the times there's a straightforward relationship between sense and reference. However, there are discrepancies, and this was talked about in Pinkner's book about whales. Scientists often view whales as mammals, where a typical society member might view whales as a really large fish. So the sense and reference have a discrepancy. The scientists in normal society have a different sense, but they reference the same thing. If I were to be talking about a whale and a scientist were to be talking about a whale, we would know what each other was talking about. I also kind of thought it was interesting is when you look at names, I would argue that the sense and reference of a name, depending on one's race, culture, socioeconomic status, where they live, and even age, could differ amongst people. So if there was a name, if I had the name Edna, or if somebody's name was Edna, I could view it, in my culture, I would view it differently, both the sense and the reference, than somebody maybe in a culture in an African American community. So I found that extremely interesting this week.